Liam, what are you doing here? This guy's just a useless newbie, you know. What are you talking about? Seeing me suddenly tasked with an unexpected transaction and going blank, Miller says, "That's why I didn't want to come to Liberty Energy Solutions. I was forcibly brought here by Mr. Brown, without being told our destination. I don't even know what kind of transaction I'm supposed to be making today, and I haven't even had a chance to look at the documents. Surely, I was brought here as a foil to showcase his abilities in front of the rumored beautiful female employee, a useless newbie." Such remarks are taken as an insult to us. Miller, who knows my true identity, says he was interested in coming because he heard that Liberty Energy Solutions had a beautiful secretary. However, seeing her not only not interested but taking my side, he argued with her and left irritated. Miller and I discuss what to do next. Then, the situation takes an unexpected turn, and Mr. Brown is cornered in an unexpected way. I'm Liam, 45 years old. I recently started working at Davis Holdings, a company that deals with energy and metals. It's a fairly large company, and it seems like each employee has a lot of responsibility. But on the other hand, I'm not doing difficult work, making copies, brewing coffee, cleaning up. In other words, I'm stuck doing menial tasks. Despite landing a job at a big company, there's a reason I'm relegated to such chores. I've been diligently working at these tasks every day, aiming to fulfill a certain goal. Must be nice being incompetent. How does it feel to be in your 40s and only capable of cleaning? That's Mr. Brown from sales, taunting me as I mop the floor inside the office. He's in charge because he's competent, but he often looks down on employees who are lower in rank than him. It seems many employees are troubled by him. Sir, this is about all I'm capable of. I know Mr. Brown is mocking me, but I respond with a wry smile. I'm just a regular employee, and moreover, stuck in a menial position. No matter how much I'm ridiculed, I don't have the right to talk back to him. Seeing me smirk, he shoves my shoulder and heads off somewhere. You understand well. You're incompetent, so cleaning suits you. Do your best, now. As he says this, he kicks over a bucket on the floor, soaking the freshly cleaned floor with water. While I'm stunned, I can't help but think what an arrogant person he is, and I sigh. Seeing me slump my shoulders in dejection, Mr. Brown, in a good mood, starts bothering a nearby female employee. Poor thing, you're probably not making much money. To have landed a job at Davis Holdings and end up just cleaning, that's a shame. Yeah, I guess. You ladies should pick your men wisely. Like me, for example. I'm good at my job and I make a lot. The female employee grimaces but responds anyway. She's part-time, so she can afford to oppose Mr. Brown. Unaware of the chilly atmosphere around him, he laughs to himself. After having his fill of doing whatever he pleased, he heads to the elevator to go to another floor. Once he is gone, I approach the female employee. Are you okay? I'm fine. But he is a problem. The part-time female employee sighs deeply. This isn't the first time she's had trouble with him. While he favors female employees, he's tough on the men. Some employees have quit because they couldn't stand being harshly criticized for mistakes and other forms of harassment from him. You'd think with all this arrogant behavior, he would get caught by a supervisor or HR pretty quickly, but he acts all polite in front of his bosses. That's why his misdeeds don't come to light easily. Every company has these kinds of bosses who misuse their position to do whatever they please. Realizing this fact, I fiddle with the device in my pocket and then grab the mop to resume cleaning. About a week later, while I was making copies of some documents, suddenly Mr. Brown comes rushing over. Sir, what's up? Liam, follow me. Huh? What do you mean? There's a job that's just perfect for someone as useless as you. I'm pulled away by him, leaving the document copying half finished. Wondering what's about to start, I'm forcefully put into a sales car. The car starts immediately, and I realize there's no turning back now. Where am I being taken to now? What do you mean a job that's perfect for me? Could it be sales? You're in the sales car, so obviously, that's what we're doing. What are you panicking for? Mr. Brown is grinning like he finds something amusing. This might not be a big deal for him, but for me, what's about to happen is pretty significant. I've never done sales at this company before. If you keep saying that, you'll always be incompetent, right? Be grateful I'm giving you this experience. Come on, you can grow without failing, right? Even if you say that suddenly, I'm not prepared at all, and I don't even know where we're going. This way, we'll just end up causing trouble for the other party. That's something you work out with determination. Shame is also a form of learning. I never thought he'd go as far as involving the business partner in his harassment. At this rate, I'll be thrust into a negotiation setting without knowing anything. If this fruitless transaction starts just to trap me, it won't benefit either company. It'll just be him having his fun. Thinking this, I tried to resist. Could you at least tell me where we're going and what kind of transaction we're going to have? This is too much. It's a negotiation. I heard they have a beautiful secretary, so I took over the deal. You took over. Can you even do that? Turns out, you can. He says he's heading to this deal just to meet that famous beautiful secretary. Though he claims he got it handed to him, he probably snatched it from another employee. Taking a deal from someone else just to meet a woman. What does he think work and sales are about? Eventually, the company car arrives at Liberty Energy Solutions. This company also deals primarily with energy and does similar work to Davis Holdings. Arriving at a place I never anticipated, I panic. Here. Yeah. Got a problem with that. Even if asked, I have nothing but complaints. If I had known today's deal was happening here, I would have refused to come along by any means necessary. The beautiful secretary is supposedly going to serve us coffee. Let's go see. Mr. Brown. Wait a minute. There are reasons I absolutely didn't want to come to Liberty Energy Solutions, but I'm dragged along by him. And so, I find myself standing at the negotiation table with this company, knowing nothing about the content. I'm Brown, the director from Davis Holdings. Please, let's have a good meeting today. I'm Liam. Please, let's have a good meeting today. Finally, negotiations with the employees of Liberty Energy Solutions begin. I don't know anything about the content of the transaction being conducted today. As I wonder what kind of content will be discussed, Mr. Brown hands me the documents. Although I had a bad feeling, I ask him, sir, I'll leave it to you then. But I mean, the content of today's transaction will be explained by him. Despite my reluctance, he starts saying something outrageous. Even so, I don't know anything about today's transaction. I was forcibly put in the car just before departure, essentially just dragged into this. Yet, I'm suddenly tasked with explaining the transaction content, which I can't possibly do. I'm completely confused, but amidst this, the employees are waiting for an explanation. This is a job situation, and just saying I was brought here by Mr. Brown won't cut it. Regarding this transaction, I tried to start talking by arranging the documents, but I can't find the words. I don't know what the other party wants or how far this negotiation has progressed. There's no way I can provide a satisfactory explanation in this state. While the employees wait for an explanation, I try to skim through the documents, but I'm completely panicked and can't comprehend anything. Since I tried to explain but haven't said anything further, the employees start looking at me curiously. What's wrong, Liam? I'm completely panicked, and he is looking at me as if he's enjoying the situation. It's said that some employees have quit because of him, and it's understandable why someone wouldn't want to stay at this company after being treated like this. How can I end this hellish time? It might inconvenience the employees, but maybe I have to honestly explain the situation. I just want to escape from this place as quickly as possible. Just as I'm thinking this, there's an unexpected knock on the door. Excuse me, I've brought some coffee. Along with those words, a beautiful woman entered the reception room. The employee badge she carried read Miller. She seemed to have brought us coffee, as there were 3 cups on the tray she was carrying. Seeing her, Mr. Brown grinned broadly. He must have realized she was the beautiful secretary he was after. Noticing his gaze, Miller says, "I'm sorry, is this a bad time?" "No, not at all. Why don't you listen in? Our newbie here is explaining the details of this transaction." Hearing his words, said with a sly grin, she looks at me. I awkwardly avert my eyes. "It's okay. Even if you mess up, I'll cover for you." Hearing that, I understood his intent. He planned to show off his competence by covering for me, who knew nothing about the transaction. In front of Miller, I was brought here to play the role of an incompetent employee, just to boost his own standing. Using someone just to raise one's own evaluation, that's too much. But his scheme begins to unravel in an unexpected way. Liam, what are you doing here? Caught off guard by her question, Mr. Brown looks confused. This guy's just a useless newbie, you know. What are you talking about? Incompetent newbie. Such remarks are taken as an insult to us. His words seem to have struck a nerve, as her eyes narrow. This gentleman is the son of Mr. Garcia, the president of Liberty Energy Solutions. Were you not aware? Huh? Mr. Garcia's son. Mr. Brown is astounded by the fact revealed by Miller. This is why I didn't want to come to Liberty Energy Solutions. If I had known today's client was here, I would have absolutely refused to accompany Mr. Brown, even if he brought me here. Mr. Garcia's son. Sure, the president of this company is Garcia, but I won't believe it just because of the same last name. I am Mr. Garcia's secretary. I am always by his side, and there's no way I would mistake his son. Moreover, Liam used to work for this company. This employee has recently transferred to our company, so it seems they were not aware of Liam's face. Hearing Miller's explanation, the employee gives a wry smile. There might have been something off about hearing my last name was Garcia. However, no one would expect their business counterpart to be the president's son. Revealed with an unexpected truth, Mr. Brown obviously cannot accept it. What do you mean? This guy can only do menial tasks. Always cleaning or making tea. Barely able to do sales, and you're telling me this guy is the president's son and you're covering for him. That's too much of a nepotism. Mr. Brown blurts out in panic. He seems utterly unable to accept the fact that I'm the son of Mr. Garcia. That makes sense. After all, I've been acting incompetent at Davis Holdings, spending my days doing nothing but menial tasks. In response to such behavior from him, Miller calmly retorts, I'm not privy to the reasons why Liam is doing such things. I wasn't informed of the reasons when he left this company. However, what I can assure you is that he is not the incompetent person you claim him to be. What? Having secured several major contracts at a young age and devising efficient distribution methods, the contributions Liam has made for our company are countless. Liam is a very intelligent person. His employment in a menial position at your company is likely for some reason. Listening to Miller's words, his lips trembled for a while. He came here to flaunt his high evaluation and work performance to her. So, having her defend me must have been unbearable for him. Eventually, Mr. Brown says, I came here because I heard about a beautiful secretary, but to think she lacks such discernment. Snatching a deal for this is a letdown. Perhaps someone more compliant would be favored by the president. You came to our company for that reason. That is purely distasteful. We shall not conduct business with someone like you. Please, leave. That suits me fine. I won't come back ever again. With that, Mr. Brown stood up, slammed the door with a loud noise, and left the reception room. Watching him leave, I apologized to the employees and Miller. I'm sorry about our director. No worries. The employees smirk at his behavior. It's rare to see someone so arrogant. No, rather, I never expected to meet you here. Indeed. It's been a while. Could we have a little talk? Please, this way. Since there were employees around, Miller guides me to another room. And so, we began to talk, just the two of us. I'm sorry, Miller, for having you defend me. Don't worry about it. Insulting you is the same as insulting us. It's only natural to protest. I just came to bring some coffee, never expecting it to turn into such a situation. Mr. Brown, was it? Quite the character. That guy has a terrible reputation at our company too. Remembering what he said, I let out a dry laugh, trying to make me handle a deal without any knowledge, or saying things like lacking discernment in front of the other company's secretary, all of which are outrageous and unrelated to work. Such behavior from him would normally make it impossible to ever do business again. He even calls you an incompetent employee. That's presumptuous. If he knew about your accomplishments at our company, he would be astounded. I could have shared everything, but I doubt he would have listened. Your sentiment is enough for me. It would be embarrassing for me if you went that far. Is that so? It doesn't bother me at all. Miller seemed quite upset about Mr. Brown belittling me. Knowing she holds me in such high regard is flattering, but also a bit embarrassing. Why did you decide to join Davis Holdings, Liam? I left Liberty Energy Solutions suddenly, about a month ago. Being a Garcia, my departure surprised everyone, especially since I didn't tell them where I was going, which must have confused them. But talking too much about it could have impacted what I wanted to do next. Oh, there were several reasons. May I ask what those reasons were? I'm destined to take over this company. So, my dad taught me everything necessary for running a business. But when it came time to think about future management strategies, I realized I had no idea what it's like from an employee's perspective. At Liberty Energy Solutions, many treated me with extra courtesy because I was a Garcia. So, I hardly ever had trouble at work. But on the other hand, I couldn't truly understand the feelings of the employees. I saw that as a problem. That's why I wanted to experience the actual environment the employees are in. To start with, I thought I'd try doing menial tasks. But an ordinary employee's job at Liberty Energy Solutions, if I started cleaning, everyone would be too considerate, and it wouldn't be a real work environment. That makes sense. So, I decided to take up a menial job at Davis Holdings. It's been quite the valuable experience. Including the harsh treatment from Mr. Brown, I've experienced various aspects of an employee's work and conditions. Regular employees must think about these things daily. This will be beneficial when I become president of Liberty Energy Solutions someday. To say menial tasks are a valuable experience, only someone like you would say that. Really. I think it's something every manager should experience at least once. You can understand the true feelings of your employees if you're always on top. That could lead to dissatisfaction and the loss of talented staff. You really do have remarkable thoughts. That's why it's so frustrating to see Mr. Brown treat you that way. I didn't expect Miller to be so angry on my behalf. Being thrown into a negotiation without any information is definitely going too far, but I take it as part of the experience of being an ordinary employee. So, I'm not too bothered by it. Besides, Mr. Brown has been tyrannical within the company, but that's likely to come to an end soon. Anyway, I understand your situation. Our company is always waiting for your return. I'll report this incident to President Garcia, just to be safe. Thanks. Actually, I have a favor to ask. Is that all right? What is it? I ask Miller for a certain favor. She gladly accepts my request, and everything is prepared. Mr. Brown, having used a company car to come to Liberty Energy Solutions, had already gone back. Since I had no way to return, I reluctantly decided to take a taxi back. Upon returning to Davis Holdings, he was furiously waiting for me. Come here, Liam. What is it? While gripping my suit and walking, Mr. Brown, looking furious, says, Liam, I wasn't informed. What's this about you being the son of the president of Liberty Energy Solutions? Well, I wasn't informed about where we were going either. If I had known the meeting was with Liberty Energy Solutions, I definitely wouldn't have gone. Although everything worked out in the end, being found by Miller felt like being caught returning in disgrace. No excuses. You've made me a laughingstock because of you. And that woman. I heard she was beautiful, but what a piece of work. How could she be the president's secretary? It's your own fault for trying to harass her. Plus, there's a problem with your behavior. Mr. Brown went to negotiate, lured by the reputation of the beautiful Miller. It's quite disrespectful to go there for that reason alone. And even more so to say he came to see the beautiful secretary in her presence. Humph, the nerve of someone incompetent. You might have been saved this time because you're the president's son, but don't expect things to always go smoothly. But how are you going to report this deal to the higher-ups? Snatching the deal from another employee, and then coming back after a complete failure. Don't get cocky. That's none of your business. The failure of this deal is your fault. I'll report that to the president right now. He completely deflects his own fault. What do you mean? The failure of this deal is because of your attitude. I didn't do anything. You conspired with the other party to corner me. Just because you're the son of the president of Liberty Energy Solutions. Whose side are you on? I am committed to working for the benefit of Davis Holdings as its employee. The failure of this deal is due to his behavior, not mine. By then, We had arrived in front of the president's office. We'll see about that. I'll show you who the president trusts more. He opens the door to the president's office with a bang. Mr. Davis of Davis Holdings looks extremely surprised to see Mr. Brown and me entering suddenly. What's the rush, Mr. Brown? Sir, you need to hear this. And then he says something outrageous. Liam was a spy sent from Liberty Energy Solutions. What? Liam, being the son of Mr. Garcia, the president of Liberty Energy Solutions, sneaked into our company as a janitor to steal our confidential information and has been leaking our secrets to them every day. He laid out a baseless accusation as if it were fact. I haven't leaked any company secrets, nor did I enter as a spy. After all, Mr. Brown only found out I was Mr. Garcia's son moments ago, without a shred of evidence of any wrongdoing. Yet, he concocted a story that I was trying to undermine this company and reported it to Mr. Davis. To think he could leak secrets when he's barely capable of cleaning. It would be reasonable to fire him and demand compensation for damages. Mr. Davis, this man deserves justice. Do you think so? Huh? Hearing his words, Mr. Brown looks utterly baffled. I'm aware that Liam is the son of Liberty Energy Solutions. I hired him into this company knowing that, and at his request, intentionally placed him in a menial position. Considering his talents, he could have easily excelled in a key department. What does that mean? He must not have expected that Mr. Davis knew about my background before hiring me. He says in a flustered manner, I had known about Liam's achievements at Liberty Energy Solutions for some time. So, I was surprised when he approached me wanting to gain experience as an ordinary employee in our company. But I decided to accept his request under one condition. But that doesn't prove he didn't come here to expose company secrets. Then let me ask you, do you have any proof that he leaked company secrets? He had just found out I was a Garcia, so there's no way he could have any evidence. After all, I owe Mr. Davis for hiring me, and I would never do something to disadvantage the company. Mr. Brown didn't anticipate Mr. Davis would defend me. Unable to argue back, he just stands there, sweating profusely. Mr. Brown went to negotiate because he heard about the beautiful Miller and snatched the deal from another employee just to see her. On top of that, he repeatedly made highly inappropriate remarks in front of the client about coming to see the beautiful secretary and how she should be more compliant. Hey, that's not all. His behavior towards women has been quite poor, persistently bothering and hitting on them within the company. Where's the proof that I did any of that? Suddenly, a voice cuts in. May I testify? Miller, I've been officially permitted by our president to come here. Liam asked me to testify about what happened during this steal. Miller had come to the president's office. She gives me a nod. It seems she has done everything I asked her to, saying, I came to see the beautiful secretary I heard about. She's a woman with no discernment. Perhaps being more compliant would be better. These words are not suitable for a negotiation setting. Incredibly rude. I was deeply hurt by these comments. Mr. Brown, what's this all about? That's a lie. Liam is conspiring with this woman to set me up. Mr. Brown scrambles for words, cornered. See, what proof is there that Liam and the secretary are connected? Liam must have been leaking our secrets, connecting with this woman. He's a spy, isn't he? I also have a message from the president on that matter. This was Liam's own doing. Our company didn't instruct him to do anything. If you're truly concerned about information leakage, feel free to investigate anytime. Furthermore, the decision to employ Liam despite the risk of information leakage was made because it benefits Davis Holdings. I'm not privy to the details, but isn't there some appropriate deal between Liam and Mr. Davis? Miller speaks up. Hearing her theory, Mr. Davis elaborates. There's no need to hide it anymore. Of course, it's not normal to hire the son of a competitor's president for nothing. However, there was a reason for hiring Liam this time. A reason. I agreed to work in a menial position at Davis Holdings in exchange for gathering evidence of your wrongdoing, Mr. Brown. What? That's when I reveal the whole story. From now on, there's no need to pretend to be an incompetent and timid employee. Everything was ready to corner him. What do you mean, sir? It means exactly what it sounds like. We've had reports of your misconduct from HR for some time. but without concrete evidence, we couldn't proceed with an investigation. So, when he offered, I thought it was a good opportunity. He's known as a capable future president in the industry. After all, Mr. Brown, you look down on me as incompetent, so the investigation was quite easy. You showed your true nature in front of me quite easily. As for the evidence of your misdeeds, it's all uploaded in the database. Please, check it, Mr. Davis. Then, the president starts using the computer. The office fills with audio recordings related to his harassment. Various instances, including isolating employees in private rooms, taking credit for their achievements, and making unwelcome advances towards women. The audio recording of the time when you were rude to Ms. Miller at Liberty Energy Solutions is also included. All the evidence being brought to light, Mr. Brown trembled his lips. Now, he can escape. After checking the recording data to some extent, Ms. Miller says, Mr. Garcia is questioning his rude attitude. If you intend to send him to negotiations as is, I'll have to call off the deal to protect our employees. However, if you remove him from the charge, we'll reconsider future transactions. That's a reasonable decision. But considering the misdeeds you've committed within the company, removing you from charge is too lenient. Mr. Davis glares at Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown. Being confronted with evidence of his misdeeds from all sides, Mr. Brown, who had shrunk considerably, replied in a frightened manner. It's astonishing how you've continued to harass within the company and frighten the employees. Seeing the maliciousness, I'll have to terminate you with cause. No, please reconsider. I have always worked for the sake of this company. Which mouth is saying for the sake of the company? Silenced by Mr. Davis's scolding, Mr. Brown fell silent. For a while, he collapsed on the floor, hanging his head, but eventually looked at me with anger. Why are such incompetent people always getting all the attention? I had to say to Mr. Brown, isn't it true incompetence on your part, sir, for not being able to see through my background? While holding the position of a director, you behaved as you pleased and wore down the employees. I think you should take a good look at your actions and reflect on them. After saying that, it seemed Mr. Brown had no words to counter. He just groaned, and became silent. Subsequently, Mr. Brown was terminated and stopped showing up at the company the next day. He seems to be looking for a new job, but since he had a haughty attitude even with business partners, his bad reputation spread within the industry. Moreover, being in his 50s, it seems he had a hard time finding a new job. In the end, he had no choice but to work part-time at a convenience store at night, greeting occasionally arrogant customers and working hard. After finishing the story about Mr. Brown, I talked with Ms. Miller about the future. You're staying here a bit longer, huh? Yeah, there's still more I want to learn. Ms. Miller, talking with me, seemed a bit sad. Having such a devoted secretary, I'm fortunate. Seeing her like this makes me waver, but I still have much to learn. Working in an environment without the prestige of being a Garcia has been a valuable and enlightening experience for me. My true identity is still not widely known within Davis Holdings. That's why I want to continue learning from the ground up, observing things from a different perspective. Before I return, I'll head back once I've finished my studies. I'm counting on your support then. Understood. We look forward to welcoming you back. Taking over as president is imminent, but it would be shameful to rest on my laurels and leave everything to the employees. I aim to lead the company in the right direction based on a variety of experiences and become a president who is respected and beloved by the staff.